my friends. Friday afternoon. I'm not drinking a margarita, but I should be. Oh, hi everybody. Welcome. Hello, my friends. Welcome. We are just about to get started. I was going to do this on my No Judgment Diet page, but I'm doing it here because follow the energy. Hey, yep, I am. You're here, you're there, you're everywhere. I am everywhere. Yay. Hello, my friends. Hello, Tracy. Welcome, everybody. Oh, I love you guys. I just got done with a potent call on the intimacy. I'm playing out in the garden. Awesome. Cool. So we're going to have a little conversation about vulnerability and receiving. And, I'm going to out myself because why not? Hi, Wendy. So it's just on my intimacy series. And, it was really cool. I got facilitated on my own call. And I was like, wow, this is so interesting. You guys are paying me and to basically to facilitate me. And what I noticed is the willingness to receive contribution. And so how much of your life have you decided what you're willing to receive? And it's really interesting. Most people desire to contribute to you. And if you, hello, Jean, I think Jean. So it's interesting because you think about how much you love contributing to other people. How much do you like giving gifts or thinking of a surprise or even calling someone just to say, I'm so grateful for you. I called an old lover today and I was like, I was thinking about him and I was like, I just want to tell you how grateful I am for you. And so it's interesting because how much of our lives do we actually either avoid receiving, right? Or have all of this energy on, if I receive from somebody, then I'm going to have to give them something, right? And so I don't know where we're going to go today on this live. I just know that there's this conversation about being vulnerable. And being vulnerable is the willingness to lower your barriers, to have no point of view about you, and no point of view about who's in front of you or what's in front of you, so that you can totally receive, right? And when you're willing to receive, you're actually willing to be aware of you and everyone and everything around you. And, I like this vulnerability conversation. If we have preconceived notions about what that looks like, does that, hi Wendy, does that actually limit your ability to be vulnerable? And I'll say it again. So I'm going to call it a definition, but my definition of vulnerability is the willingness to have no point of view about me. And if I have no point of view about me, that includes all the things that are the bad, the ugly, the things I want to hide, right? Vulnerability is the willingness to go, oh yeah, that's there too. I don't have to be perfect. And so there is, what I look at in whether you're in the business of hair, whether you're in the business of production or marketing, whether you're in the business of consciousness, whether you're just in the business of having your body and being in relationship. Hi, Becky. Nice to see you. So whatever and wherever you are in your life, there is this idea that we have to define who we are in order to receive. So if you have a business, right, and you're like, well, I am a real estate agent, or I am a hairdresser, or I am a facilitator, those definitions keep you from being totally vulnerable. And so when I was on this call earlier, if I would have had the point of view that I'm the facilitator, I'm facilitating with my awareness, right? I can't receive from those that want to contribute to me, that would be an unkindness, right? And so vulnerability is willing to let go of the definitions that you've defined you as. And when you drop your definitions or drop your need to prove or drop your need to be, then you can be all of you, right? And I don't know if this makes any of you uncomfortable, but how often do we present to the world this perfect picture? And I've been looking at a lot of inspirational videos lately of famous people, of people who've gone through the trenches. And from the outside, they look like they have their shit together, right? I was watching Goalcast, if you guys ever go to Goalcast. So Goalcast is this Facebook page that has all these inspirational videos. And one of the videos was of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it was talking about his upbringing and where he came from. And I think his dad was like in the, I might get this wrong, but his dad had some, like was in the police with the Nazis or something like that in Germany, right? Or in Austria. And Arnold was told he would never be able to do what he wanted to do. And so watching his story, I started to go, wow, I never knew that about him. And when I heard his story, I went into this place of, wow, I have more respect and gratitude for him. Whereas before, I had some preconceived notions about Arnold. Right? And then there was a story about Charlize Theron and how her father was an alcoholic and almost killed her and with a gun, and she almost died. And so not in Germany, in Austria. Thank you. Hello, one of my favorite friends. Nice to see you from the Middle East. How awesome. So why am I saying this? Is if you are a business owner, if you're a mom, if you want to do something different in the world, most of the time what we do is we put this appearance of who we are out there as if we haven't had the story of struggle. Hello, right? As if the story of struggle takes away from our business or from our brilliance or from what we can contribute to people. But what I'm here to say is that when you share your struggle, not necessarily when you're in it, but when you share your struggle. And it's funny because Lua's on here, and I actually did a talk in Bahrain like a couple years ago on social media at a social media conference in Bahrain. And one of the things was share your story with the world, but do it not from when you're in the trenches and in the depression and in the frustration, but share your story when you're out of it with a lesson of what you gained. Because the truth is, my friends, we all have had struggles and strifes and complications and fighting and trying to get our message out to the world or just trying to be a good human being. And just because you've had struggle doesn't mean that you're not amazing and brilliant. It's the struggle and the challenges and the frustrations that actually create the greatness of you. Why? Lots of different reasons, but one of them is you're willing to recognize that your struggles don't define you. Your struggles contribute to helping you see who you are, helping you be who you are. And so if you have been buying the lie that your struggles diminish your brilliance, cool. Yeah. So Wendy says, thank you, Catherine. My body and my business are asking me to show up, and this is a part of it. You guys, I share my shit all the time. And, you know, there's moments where I want to judge it or go, oh, I shouldn't share that part of my life. And, you know, recently I've gone through some really interesting energies. I I'm divorced and have had some conflict with my ex, and I keep going, oh, well, I shouldn't put that out there. It's just the reality of when you are dealing with a struggle, right? Totally buying the lies. What else is possible? Right. Stop buying the lies. When you're willing to be vulnerable, that invites people to go, oh my gosh, if you can do it, I can do it too. And your struggle, your challenges, your frustrations, they're there to invite you to see how powerful you actually are, right? Cool. Wendy says this is the journey that will invite them along. Yeah. Because you guys, I like the no judgment diet is one of my greatest missions or targets in the world, not because I had my shit together with my body, but because I was falling apart in that area of my life. And the no judgment diet and this energy of going, wow, I didn't realize that it wasn't about food. It wasn't about weight. It wasn't about my self-image that like the external self-image. It was the internal judgments that were destroying me. And so I went from literally being in and out of hospitals, being, in and out of outpatient therapy, taking probably thousands of hours of therapy sessions. And none of those actually got me to feel lighter or better. It was, oh my gosh, these judgments aren't real. Right? Lewis says the no judgment diet is the ultimate style of living. Exactly. And I believe that there is a huge movement, right, to literally stand up and be the brilliance we are. Because we all know that judging ourselves does not actually create more. Right? We were taught in this reality that in order to change something you think is wrong with you, you have to judge you or judge the thing long enough, hard enough to find a solution. Well, Einstein says, you can't solve a problem in the same way that you created the problem, right? And insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, thinking that if you do it long enough, strong enough, hard enough, then it will change. No, we actually have to reverse engineer our thinking. Thank you. No judgment diet rocks. Yes, it does. We have to reverse engineer our thinking and start to bring out the brilliance. Well, guess what, my friends? That brilliance includes your vulnerability. That brilliance includes your struggle and being willing to go around it no matter what. So Tracy says, I relate to moms with kids on the spectrum and I made it through. When we share my story, I get caught in it, but realize it's not mine, right? And that's your awareness of other people's judgments, whether it's their judgments of themselves, right? Or their judgments of you because you made it through and they wish they were there, or whatever it is. But your story actually invites people to be inspired by what's actually possible. So your vulnerability is this great, amazing tool. And when you share your story with no point of view about how it's going to be received, no point of view about who's going to relate to it and who's not. No point of view about whether or not somebody's judging you for the shit you've gone through, right? None of that. It literally is about being willing, to be the vulnerability you are with no point of view. Your stories make you stronger. And your stories are the information of your brilliance that you can invite someone else to. Right? I'll say that again. Your stories are the information of your brilliance that you can invite someone to. If you're struggling, it's because you have a point of view that you shouldn't be struggling. Well, what if that struggle is actually hiding your brilliance? And when you're vulnerable with you, when you lower your barriers to the good, the bad, the ugly, the wrong, the miserable, the challenges, the struggles, you actually will receive the awareness of the information that part of you, there is a hidden gem of brilliance that is your invitation to inspire those around you. So whether your vision is to change the world, to inspire other people to become greater no matter what, this really is... I love it. Well, no judgment, Lua. So Lua says, the only thing I can understand is that you're looking younger than when we met 2 years back. So I guess your diet is working perfectly. Exactly. And it's not just a diet with food in your body. It's a diet with money. It's a diet with your relationships. It's about getting out of, and you know what's really cool is the only makeup I have on is lipstick. I have no mascara. I have no blush. This is my natural skin, right? And so I will take looking younger. I love it. And it's when you are willing to let go of judgments in every area of your life, your business, your relationships, your money flows, whether or not you think you're loudmouth, whether or not you think you're quiet or introverted, whether or not you think you're extroverted. What if all of that just was who you are and you didn't have to judge it? And when you let go of those judgments, you get younger, right? You make better choices, and you also can access your awareness and tap into or be aware of the, basically the energy of consciousness. So the energy in the universe that is there for you to play with and create with. Right? And so vulnerability is so much more than crying your eyes out, right? Vulnerability is so much more than needing to hang on to your story. Vulnerability is the willingness to be your story with no point of view. No point of view of how it's received. It's part of some of my favorite books are people's stories about themselves and then the revelations that they came to that made them feel greater. So if you guys can relate to this or recognize, thumbs up or hearts, right? And if this conversation is contributing to you and you know someone in your life that you're you got to listen to this, please feel free to share it. We love all the shares we can get. So Wendy says, I love what you said the other day, that you sometimes feel like Gary, when he began Access, that there are only a few people that can hear you at the moment. I've been waiting, and I think she means W-A-I-T, but waiting, right? When you're waiting, so stalling or waiting as in time, you can also create wait or aging, right? So waiting for people to hear, I just have to start, right, the message so people can show up. Exactly. Hello, my friends. Welcome. So where are you guys waiting? And Wendy says both, LOL, right? Laugh out loud. So where are you guys waiting to wait for the perfect moment in time, right? To wait to be heard. The people that we see as examples that have gotten on the other side, that have made it through, it's not that they're absent of struggles now, it's that those struggles were the invitation for them to become greater and greater and greater. So the biggest no that stops you, right, is the one that you keep telling yourself. I can't do this, right? I can't have this. I can't whatever it is. I can't fly around the world. I can't have an international business. I can't let go of my story. And those are the places, the thing that stops you the most is the no that you tell you, right? And the no that you tell you is a lie, because my friends, you can do anything. So Wendy says, this is the time is the thing I keep getting caught up on, right? You guys, it's never the perfect time, right? You guys are parents, you have children, you might own a house or 5 houses, you might be running a business, you might have a large staff. Life is busy, right? I stopped saying to people, oh, I'm really busy, because the reality is we're all busy. And we use the things that we take time for the things that we value, right? right? The only problem that can't be solved is the problem you don't want to solve. Oh, hello, Sean. You've been in my brain. Speaking of parents and business owners and rock stars, right? Nice to see you. So this idea about vulnerability is there is no problem that you cannot solve. The only problem you can't solve is the problem you tell yourself. And on the flip side of that, there is nothing that you cannot create. There's only the things that you tell yourself you can't that, well, guess what? Your point of view is right. You cannot change anybody's point of view. You can only invite them into what you know is possible for you. And when you invite people into what you know is possible for you by being it, not by just talking about it, by being it, right? Then you will invite people to start to choose greater for themselves. So the life you're waiting to create, there is no right time, right? There is no right time. The time is always now. It's just a matter of what is now. Is now the time to go on a date? Is now the time to have a difficult conversation with my intimate other? Is now the time to, hire more people in the business? Is now the time? So it's not that it's not time. It's just, okay, what is it time for now? Right? And all of the problems that you've decided are in the way of you achieving your goals and your dreams and your visions, they are only problems because you've decided them as so. Your past does not define you, right? Your past is not relevant to the future you can create. Your past is simply an invitation for you to see how strong you are. And when you're willing to use that as information, as resources, then what you are capable of creating, well, it's up to you. Really, truly, it's up to you. And what you're capable of creating, you can't even define it. But somewhere in your being, somewhere in your body, somewhere in your gut and your heart and your muscle and your sweat and your tears is this genius waiting to be exposed to the world. So it's not about waiting for, Ellen DeGeneres to call you to say, hey, we're going to have you on our show. It's about creating the vision and the business and the money and the possibilities and the travel and everything, right? Sean says, I need to get you on Results Radio for a conversation. Yes, my friend. Yes, please. And I'm starting my podcast. I'm actually recording my first episodes this weekend. My podcast is Gangster of Consciousness. So my friend Sean, I will have you on my radio show as well, on my blog or podcast. Keep calling it a blog. Hello, Roberto, mi amigo, ¿cómo estás? I keep always wanting to speak Spanish to you. So my friends, this idea that you can't go through struggle or that struggle is the reason that stops you, your reaction to the struggle and your point of view about your struggle and your point of view about your difficulty is what stops you. Your point of view that you can't receive is what stops you. Or your point of view that people are out to get you or that you're a victim. There are no victims. Only survivors. And most of us have become victims to our like incessant, the things that we've decided in our brain that we can't do and can't choose. That's, you become a victim of your own points of views, of your own limitations. Yeah. So let's see so Julie says, I tend to think I haven't gotten through whatever it is enough to be able to be vulnerable. I'm always still in it, right? Is it okay to still be vulnerable as long as you have a lesson learned from it? Well, vulnerability isn't necessarily, and I'm not saying you're doing this, vulnerability isn't necessarily let my spew my shit over people. Vulnerability is, wow, there's this thing I'm dealing with and I'm not sure how to get around it. There's this thing I'm dealing with, and I've decided it's a force outside of me, right? Vulnerability, yes, is the willingness to be you with no point of view, right? I'm a single mom, right? And there are times where people go, oh my God, we feel so sorry for you, and you're running a business, and you're traveling around the world, and I go, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. It's actually an ability and a possibility, but other people have points of views about it. And so what if your story is the invitation to show people what's possible for them? And what if you didn't have to get through to the other side of it, but you showed up despite what you're going through? Does that make any sense? So yes, it's okay to be vulnerable. Vulnerability, again, I'm going to say this because I can't say it enough. Vulnerability is the willingness to be you with no point of view. Not, I'm a mom, not, I'm a business owner, not, well, yes, I am those things, but those things don't define me. So what are those things that you've been hanging on to as definitions of you that actually, if you drop the definition or the need to hang on to it, there's a whole nother universe of possibilities waiting for you to choose? What if? I wonder. So a little food for thought on a Friday afternoon and Saturday for my Australian friends, right? You guys are here from all over the world, and I so appreciate you and so grateful for you. What I will say is, don't give up on you, right? When you're willing to be vulnerable, you will receive the gift you are. And when you receive the gift you are, when you know the gift you are, you will change everyone around you. Yes, and let's hashtag away. I don't know what you're going to hashtag, but do it. Hashtag superpower, hashtag possibilities, hashtag be you, right? And and let's get started. Awesome. So it's time, my friends, and just ask, what is it time for? What is it time for? What can you choose today that it's time for? So if you wake up depressed, is it yours? And if you're going through a hard time, if you didn't have a point of view that it was a problem, what would you actually be able to create? Right? Vulnerability, it is definitely a superpower. Wendy says it's time to be me. Amen. Vulnerability is a superpower. And when you're vulnerable with you, so when you're not hiding the good, the bad, the ugly about you, you can create anything. And when you're vulnerable with you, people want to contribute to you, right? And you guys all have to look at, what does vulnerability mean to you? And, it's amazing because we are blessed. I am blessed, Wendy says magic, to have been using the tools of Access Consciousness for 6 years. And, I look at all of these abilities and superpowers and possibilities. And, Dan and Gary have been inviting us into seeing that the shit that you go through, it's not a wrongness. The shit that you go through is an invitation for you to see how potent and powerful you are. So get to work, my friends. Start to be willing to receive how magical and brilliant and amazing you truly are, because the world is waiting for you to share your message. The world is waiting for you to be you. The world is waiting for you to wake up. And whatever you do, just recognize that everything you run up against is an invitation for you to be greater. No judgment. So happy Friday, Saturday evening, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for joining. If this conversation contributed to you, if you just jumped on, please go back and watch. I think it was a pretty good conversation. If you guys agree, you can give hearts and thumbs up. And Tracy says it's time. Amen. So my friends, stop waiting. Stop holding on to the garbage and the baggage and the reasons and justifications that you have to wait. and start to see what you can create today. So I adore you. We'll see you next time, whenever that is. I look forward to it. So you're so welcome, Wendy. Yes, it is time, and happy. See you guys somewhere in the world. Bye for now.